Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from magicfactory. It's molded in 1/72 scale and it copies Puma's Puma, so it's Sd.Kfz.234/2. And what I have here on the table, that's the final shape of this release, so you should be able to get it in any good model shop. And in the small scale, it might be interesting for modelers who don't have the space for the bigger releases, or maybe they just prefer the small scale and they would like to have it in the same size as their other builds which they already assembled. And of course the quality will be under the question because, well, for me personally, I do not have any experience with this brand, so it will be interesting to check. And you can notice that the box size is not that huge. Here is comparison with my hand. We have quite simple box art. Here on the side we have colors chart, and on the opposite side we have again the marking option, but I guess we will talk more when we check the rear side here. So you can notice here that we have two marking options supplied. It's printing or painting scheme A and painting scheme B. Not that much, but I think it should be enough for 1/72 scale. And now I just need to cut the seal on the side of the box in order to see what is actually supplied here. So just give me a moment. I'm cutting it already. And this is a bit of a tight fitment from what I can see. And what is even more interesting is that all of the frames, they are packed into separate plastic bags. And we have the assembly manual, small plastic bag with some additional elements, and even some hull parts packed separately. And the vinyl tires, which is kinda strange in 1/72 scale, but anyway, we're gonna start with the plastic sprues, so just give me a second to cut through one of them, and then we will be going through each one of them. And in case you are interested in some other 1/72 scale releases, I have plenty of the reviews, and you can find them easily on the same YouTube channel which you are watching right now. And we are starting with the sprue C here, so let's zoom in and open the lenses maybe so that you can see what we have here. The part size is not that huge, so maybe it's worth zooming in and checking one of the corners. So as you can see, the attachment points are reduced to the possible minimum. I guess these are the interior parts, at least they look like this to me, and this is rather strange to see in 1/72 scale, so I wonder how it will be actually copied on the vehicle. But for this we will have to check the assembly manual in order to understand what is actually supplied here and what is overall idea why we get some internals in this plastic kit. What I'm doing right now, I'm opening the next plastic bag which is dedicated to the turret. So just give me a second to remove this plastic sprue, and then we will check the turret parts. So here they are. And on the turret, it is notable that we have the separate hatches, both hatches. We also have the main gun barrel, which is molded as the single piece part. And of course, the metal version will be looking better, but it will cost you extra money to get some aftermarket. So that's already your decision whether you would like to invest into this. I think in 1/72 scale, plastic should be sufficient, and the final result will depend more on your paint work than on the material for this element of the turret. I'm opening the third plastic bag, and here we have a bit bigger plastic frame, but it is bigger because of certain parts placed there, so just give me a second. Okay, so here we have the side panels for the main hull, and as you can see, they're molded as a single piece parts. We also have, maybe I'll close the lenses so that it won't be that bright for you, but as you can see, we also have some separate hatches here, and also we have some interior parts. Even antenna here is molded out of plastic, which is strange for 1/72 scale, because even on 1/35 scale kits, manufacturers try to replicate it with PE parts due to the dimensions of this element. So think about it, maybe you can replicate it with your own hands-on tools and you'll get a bit more convincing look. I saw some modelers actually stretching the plastic sprue and getting it a bit thinner just to be a bit more in the scale, but this is again some extra work to do, A bit of scratch building is always fun, but also be sure that you have such skills. And next we continue with the interior floor and also the top hull section. As you can notice here, these are the side panels. For the top hull section, it is notable that we have a lot of separate sections or separate hatches. And also here is the floor panel. Let's zoom in so that you can see the surface details on this. And if I flip it over here, you can see also what is from the opposite side of the top hull section. So these are mostly the guiding pins, but this will also be useful for the proper position of these parts. And I think it's a quite smart design, especially for this size of the vehicle. And especially for this amount of the parts, because for 1/72 scale, I would say it's quite impressive on how many parts are actually supplied here. But that's not all. As we are talking about the parts count, there is one more plastic sprue with the suspension parts. And for the suspension, I see that Magic Factory decided to help a bit to the modelers, because as you can see, we have the, let's say, half assemblies of the suspension. And then you just install them onto the lower hull section, so this way you get the right alignment. So this is quite clever design. We also get the wheel rims here, but as I said, we do not get the plastic tires, we get actually the vinyl tires. And maybe I will open them right now so that I can show you what we actually have here. This is not a huge issue in 1/72 scale, but this is the problem in case you care about the features. I'm a bit confused, because I see that we have several types supplied, so maybe it's worth taking them all out and showing you what is actually supplied here. So just give me a second. Here they are, 3 separate bags, and we have the vinyl tires in each of them. So all of this was at least in my kit, so maybe you also get it, and I guess it will be needed for the different versions. We will have to check the assembly manual, but we are not done with the plastic parts, because there is one more sealed plastic bag. I mean, with those brown color parts, because there are also... No, there are no clear parts. I was going to say that there are, but there are not. So let's remove this frame aside and zoom in a bit, and I will show you what we have here. So this one is obviously the section of the lower hull part or half, and as you can see, it is molded as a single piece part. So here I guess the brand decided to use a bit of the modern molding technology and to get the proper parts fitment without the need to ask modeler to somehow combine it together. And I just wonder how it will be. Okay. So here is the dry fitment with the part where it was packed. As you can see, it just fits neatly, and there are no gaps or any other problems, so I don't think you will have any issues here. And just to prove that it's dry fit, as you can see, it drops down, and then you have only this lower hull section with really good surface details. So this is quite impressive show of the possible dry fitment and what you can achieve actually with the modern technologies, because in some cases you still have to do some dry fitment and alignment, but here it just snaps together almost like a let's say toy model from Lego. Okay, so next we continue with the decals, and I do not see where they are printed, but we get really nice symbols and stencils. I can say that the printing quality looks great. And the only thing is just to carefully apply the symbols, because usually those tiny symbols are the most, well, the trickiest out of all. There are also small PE parts supplied. As you can see, they're unpainted, and they should be handy for the external features. And next we have assembly manual. So just give me a moment. I will place it here. Zoom out, close the lenses. So assembly manual is printed in black and white, and here we have the list of the recommended tools, also the parts map, and assembly process starts with the wheels. You assemble the suspension, then you continue with the lower hull section. As you can see, some interior parts going inside, and then here you can see also some hatches going inside, even though brand does not show that you can open these hatches, but they are separate, so you can try to open them. And I can see that here it is actually depicted as an open, so maybe that's the format how it is represented here. So then we join the lower hull section together with the top hull section, and then we continue with the side walls, some storage boxes, pioneer tools, few or jerry cans, also the spare wheel and some towing hooks. And that's all. I can see the exhaust cans getting in place, and here we have the turret installed in place, and also some PE parts will be needed. As you can see, it's marked with the PE, and also the main gun will be detailed inside as well, which is quite unusual for 1/72 scale. As you remember, the marking guide was printed in color on the rear side of the box on the 2 marking options, and of course this kit should be already available, so in case you would like to get it, just visit your good model shop and you will find it. And of course I will be happy to hear your opinion, so do not forget to write it here in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.